Hi Anti-Society, welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are checking out some more Tower of God. In the last chapter, had my heart rate going a little bit. There was like a lot of panicked energy at the end of that last chapter of everyone saying like, okay, do we have all the hostages? How do we get out? We're running out of time. There's a clock ticking away. What's gonna happen? Everyone kind of making a mad dash at the end. And I was like, hang on, doesn't Lororo have our getaway car ship thing where apparently we're taking everybody? I still don't know how I feel about the whole beta thing, but like I also get like not leaving him behind. It's complicated. Lororo right at the end of the chapter there was like, hang on, there's something going on. So hopefully he will swoop in and help out our gang as they are trying to get out of there as quickly as possible with everyone still in tow. So we'll see how this goes. I feel like we're getting closer and closer to like the end of the workshop battles, but I don't know how that's gonna kind of all wrap up. I've been told that there is like a noticeable end point, so we'll see. But let's get into these chapters and see how this mad dash turns out. All right, here we go. Are we gonna get ready to go rescue them? Is everyone watching though? Has everyone diverted their attention? I guess we did have people kind of getting interested again in the workshop battles. At this point, I'm like, oh yeah, there's workshop battles happening and people are there watching it as like audience members because we've been just deviating to other things. Yeah, I'm like, didn't we win? And then it was like, cut the cameras or whatever. Yes, we have to go now. I also love that Quantus back. I was like, where's our boy at? He has to be somewhere with Lororo. We just haven't seen him. The panic continues. Oh my goodness. This is very dramatic with all of the like, I don't know, like heat or whatever around them. Don't you separate them again. We've already been through this, okay? Been there, done that. We're not doing it again. Like the hey you, like y'all don't know each other's names. You haven't worked together for a while. Plausible deniability. Just because you're like, I know, and everyone else may like know or suspect doesn't mean you have proof of it, or you may not care. Isn't the contract like already null and void because of everything that's happened? Oh yeah, we had the whole thing with Casino too, because he showed up. Yeah, he's probably long gone at this point. Is there a Sweebo Traveler with him though? That's my question. Who's going with Casino besides like the Emily file? Are we gonna fight with guitars? Because that would be great. I feel like you should be nervous about the whole like you have nothing more to offer me. That would make me nervous because now what's the incentive to hold him back from doing whatever might be about to happen? Teacher? Which teacher? What are we talking about? I don't like the teeth either. I feel like we were winding down a bit, like we were getting close to what might be the end of this particular arc, and now I'm like, do we have to save an entire ship of people from whoever this guy is? What does teacher mean? Who's the teacher? Are we just saying now that we think Fook has gone insane? Kun, at what point did we think that these were stable individuals? I've seen a few of them. I've seen a few Fook members at this point. None of them seem stable. All of them seem like they need some help. I say as someone who isn't the most stable myself. And I'm like, I think you might want to talk to someone, like a professional. Oh yeah, no, like it's the needle. It's like the symbolism. They're gonna get what they want regardless of the risks. Don't see a way out. Is that our way out right there? Coming in fast. Another hey you. Is this just how we greet people now that we have some kind of beef with? I just noticed that they're like hearts around their eyes. Yeah, what did happen? Okay, was it Lororo then? I was like, what? Who jumped in there? Is this the teacher maybe we were referencing? I was assuming it was something more associated with the workshop battles. No, I feel like it can't be Lororo. I feel like there has to be another person that is associated as the teacher. We love the protective vibes though. Like, so he's also sometimes useful. Quant has proven himself multiple times. Very loyal, actually quite good at the whole being powerful and strategic thing. I just feel like he's chaotic and that makes you misjudge him. I want to see a ranker fight. I want to see two rankers fight each other, even though it makes me a little bit nervous because I like the Roro, but like, I want to see more of rankers fighting because I think it'll be epic. Yeah, do we have everyone now? Because apparently we're taking Bunny Girl. It's complicated. Yeah, I was like, where's Endorsi? Because Endorsi and Hats were en route after dropping someone from the sky. I'm still not over the whole Endorsi was like, I'm gonna just teleport us up into the air and then we're both gonna free fall and whoever lives gets to win this fight. I feel like it's just taking survival of the fittest to like an extra level. I like how we're getting like little hints of the fight happening like over the conversations that are happening. Oh no, you better not hurt him. I do want to see more of like Ranker's fighting, but like also don't hurt him. He's got this like protective dad energy now, and I'm here for it. Okay, so we've got a hacker going on. Oh dear. Okay, so we got a hacker who's gonna show them what the workshop battles did. I don't know, we've done a lot with like publicity and rumors and stuff in this season 2, from like Violet to Endorsi, like the like fame that can come with notoriety and how people can kind of go off on their own like rumors and speculations about someone. So using that like information against them to like, you know, show like really what is happening, but have that completely ruin a reputation. Like showing how important a reputation is and like what people think of you can be in the tower, because it becomes who you are, regardless if that's like actually the real person. You're like Violet being like an extreme example of that, where we had all the rumors happening where people were like, yes, this is actually who Violet is. And in all of those people's eyes, that's actually who that person was, even though the actual Violet was very different from that. So like a reputation can make or break someone. And it seems like there might break with this. Oh, other areas too. Okay, so like not just the tower. And you said who would know? I think everyone's gonna know. Did you plan on that? I mean, no taking it back now. I am very sad that it seems like Daft Punk is down for the count. I wanted to see them fight with their guitars. I like that I'm good at keeping secrets. That makes me feel like we're gonna learn some more secrets about LaRoe, because I feel like we don't really know who he is. Like we've just seen like him being on the earlier floors and then some of the stuff that he's been doing with the workshop battles, but we don't really know LaRoe, right? Not really. It's good though. I like getting to see all these people, like the chess game of everything that's happening. I like giving the little marker to be like, this is where we are now. Because it's gotten complicated enough that it's like, let me ground you. Yeah, didn't we say that we were going to use the what, bong bong? I don't know if that's how we pronounce it, but they were like, we'll use that to get out. That's not going to work. So you are going to have to go with plan, I don't even know, W? I don't know where we are at this point. We just keep switching what our tactic is. The chaos between these two. Yes, you need a better plan, but also be flexible, because clearly plans go awry. Shinsu, that perhaps. Just need to give it a boost. And I like seeing that, like this whole thing of like Endorsi being like, I'm gonna like break through it, and being angry and frustrated. You can see all the like emotional side to, I think, who we're used to Endorsi being. And then when it really comes down to the wire, she's like, okay, I need a plan. I need to think this through. What actually needs to happen to make this work? And then you can see her working through the puzzle and figuring it out and coming up with an idea. So even though she tends to be a little bit more impulsive, a little more fueled by her emotions and lets them kind of dictate her actions, when push comes to shove and she really has to think things through and plan it, she can. And I think that that's really important. It's kind of like I was saying before, where she's gone through a lot of things in the tower without having to strategize and put an effort, because of who she is and the training that she has, the background that she has. But now she's getting to the point where she does. She has to think things through. And she can, because she's gotten this far, right? Like, she's a princess of Jihad. She's had to do stuff like this before to get to this point and prove herself. So she can. She just hasn't had to do it in a while. She hasn't had to prove it. So I like getting to see those parts of her character. And you can really see her come into her own a lot better with these moments where she has to think through the situation a little bit more than maybe her impulse would have let her in like an easier setting. It's fine. They're gonna figure it out. They're better at this than you might think. I feel like that quote of like, sometimes even being exploited can be a source of hope for someone. I feel like that is a really important line, given how much I've talked about like people manipulating Bomb and choosing who he's gonna be. And a lot of this part of the story has been Bomb coming into his own and deciding, no, actually, I'm going to control my choices. I'm going to choose for myself. I'm going to decide what my life is, who I am, how I'm going to live my life, and no one is going to take that from me. And him really coming into his own and not letting people exploit him. But at the same time, getting something like this where it's like, actually, sometimes that's where the hope is, right? You see all these people who are willing to side with Foog because that offers a certain kind of hope for them. People deciding to worship Violet because that is a certain hope for them. People becoming princesses of Jihad because that's hope for them. you know, people wanting to be part of the you know, great families and stuff like that, because that's a source of hope for them, right? Like there are certain things that people decide to make sacrifices for and choose to integrate into a certain part of the systems that are currently in place, because at least it's some kind of stability or some kind of step out of what they've already been through. So I think that it is more complicated. And I think that Bam still has a lot of that kind of naivete and his optimism, that he thinks like there is good and there is bad, and he lacks some of the nuance that can come from people going through these really difficult situations. And that's why a lot of the people want to be around him. You know, his friends really treasure that in him. And I think that it is an important trait for him to have, given the environment that he's in. But it does mean that he can't quite comprehend why all of these people are making the decisions that they're making, because he doesn't have the same background, right? There's a huge part of his life that's just not there. And I mean, for a long time I was like, is it because he forgot? But now I'm like, if he's like a test tube creation, then maybe he just doesn't have a before. He just doesn't have a childhood before, like we saw him in like flashbacks where he was like in the cavern and stuff. So like maybe he just doesn't have that growing process, and he just has to start at a later point from everyone else. I feel like that's an important thing that he's gonna have to kind of understand, is like, why do people make the choices that they do? And he's getting there. He has moments where he can understand it, but I think that he can't quite get the pain and the suffering and the things that people have gone through in their lives that make them think that that's the best choice. It's probably a good thing. Like, he's been through a lot, and I don't want him to go through more. Like, it sucks that anyone had to go through the things that some of these characters have in their backstories. But it does kind of mean that there's this wall between his ability to see why they're making the decisions that they're making, even if like they even can see that it's like a moral gray zone or even like morally wrong, but there is something in it that justifies it to them. The I resent God, I think, also is a big, and like the if I had used it I would have changed things. I think that that's part of it too, is like Bam has been given power, even like if it's, I'm sure there's a whole backstory about it that we're gonna get into more of, like who Bam is and why he is who he is, but he is more powerful than other people. He is more important than other people, and that in and of itself comes with its own privileges and like awful things that have happened to him. But it does mean that he has privileges that other people don't, right? Regular people who don't have the same control over Shinsu or don't have any control over it, aren't irregulars, aren't capable of traveling through the different levels of the tower, aren't worshipped, aren't violets, aren't able to take in the needle's power and use it for themselves. Like, there are so many things that the majority of the tower do not have that Bam does, that makes him more capable of doing things and surviving in the environment that he's in. That means he doesn't have to make those moral decisions of like, do I survive or do I stick to my morals and do the right thing, right? That's a difficult decision to make, and a lot of the time instinct takes over and you decide to live, right? Like, I know that I got on Beta's case of like the fact that he like killed his friends to survive the tests and all of that, and I still think that it was the wrong decision, but it was from this place of survival. But I feel like this is kind of like important too, of like, we had the whole conversation with Bam saying like, would you like to kill everyone here, and like, would that leave you satisfied? And I feel like at this point Reflectio is just like, you know, wanting to see everything burn down. Like the whole, if I can quote the Dark Knight here, some people just want to watch the world burn. Like, I feel like that's where he's been pushed to, like this desperation of, I want to change things, I want the world to be different, and I have to use the power that I have and change it however I can, even if that means I have to burn a bunch of it down. Even if that means I have to just go on this destructive rampage, I need to make some kind of change. Things have to be different. And I think that that's kind of where his motivation is coming from. And it's creating this desperation, this recklessness. I don't want to feel bad though, because like, I know he went through a lot, but also like, just again, like with Beta, decisions were made. This is so complicated. I didn't know I had to like be philosophical so much about going through these conflicts. Can't someone just be evil and someone be good? Is that Endorsi coming to the rescue? Look at her happy face. That's sweet. After every, like, I feel like she's been so serious for a lot of this like the workshop battles we've actually seen her. Like she's had moments where she's kind of played it up for the camera or whatever, but a lot of the moments she's been very serious, and it's almost like overacting, like campy in the way that she's acted in some of the moments of like interacting with other people. But when you see those moments of her on her own when she's more sincere, she has a very serious, weighted look to her. So getting to see a moment where she's like more animated, there's like a lighter look in her eyes, I feel like is really telling to like how important this moment is of like Endorsi and Bomb like being in the same room and like actually interacting with each other properly. I mean, probably not properly at this moment because we got a time crunch to get through. Do not step on my sweet boy. This conflicts me because Endorsi is my girl, but you cannot be mean to my sweet boy Rock. He's the top of the hierarchy here. He is the S tier. No one else is there with him except like Teddy Bear being like a really, really close second, but a second. So I'm gonna need you to take your foot off of his snoot. Thank you very much. You know, this is kind of a sweet moment, but also like I feel kind of bad because it's like, oh, this whole moment has led up to this where Reflection was like, I'm finally gonna make some kind of change, some kind of impact, and then it was foiled right at the end. Oh, I don't like feeling bad. Who else is there? Is this related to the teacher thing? To the other people that are involved? What's happening? I feel like that was ominous. Okay, so it's a few days later and I properly have a cold now and my throat hurts. But I need to know what happens, so I'm just gonna film anyway and deal with the consequences. That's just where I'm at. 'Tis the season when I'm just like sick all the time, so if I sound significantly different, it's because it's been a few days, a few rough days. But I need to know, the whole like, it got broadcast everywhere. Everyone knows now. I like how all of this happens and his reaction is boiled down to like, this is troubling. I feel like I'd be like slightly more panicked about what's happening. Catfish, that's like not a good name. I feel like you shouldn't voluntarily be called Catfish. So is this Catfish? It's hard to tell where the bubbles are going. I'm assuming this is the mystery person. Who is it? Oh, they're not gonna show me. I'm trying really hard because I see the final showdown to like not sing the final countdown. I may be medicated at the moment, so the random behavior is going to be amplified. I guess it is just the two of them left. What a weird pairing. Like these two particular teammates to be the last one standing. Yeah, I feel like there might be a grudge match in the future. I don't know how near future because there are so many chapters. They'll be fine. They'll make it out alive. There's so many chapters. Look how ungraceful Rock is. I love that so much. Like, just something about him being like the least graceful. Look, they've been through a lot of things, okay? I guess Endorsi has too, but like, it's been a heck of a few chapters. Just hanging on. I guess like a bunch of them haven't actually like seen Bomb in person yet, like properly. Like there's been either they've heard about it or they've seen on the screen, or there's been like through the calls and stuff, but there hasn't been like a proper everyone in the same place moment. See, look at the success. I'm just like, I'm a little bit nervous about how they're like succeeding. Everything seems to be okay right now, and that just makes me like suspicious. I'm waiting for something to shift. I don't trust that this is gonna like work out. Like how everyone's just trying like catching up. They're like, is that Quant? Where's the flagship? What's the needle? Like everyone's just like, hang on, I wasn't given all of the information. That's how I feel, okay? So much has happened. Yeah, y'all have to get out. There's like cameras on you, literally. Are we taking a snake lady? Or is that in a different part from like the other people that passed? Because there's some familiar faces. I feel like we're taking a lot of people. But I guess we did have some people left behind. Like, I can't remember in like the one panel we got where it was showing some of the other people, like who all was coming. I feel like you're someone new. You're not the person that was talking to the person who's supposed to be making the deal with the workshop battles. They had the white suit. I'm trying to think if we've seen someone in a white suit. It's been so long, and I'm sure that there's foreshadowing of some kind. It's been such a long arc, I guess. He can't give up the needle. He's been chosen. Oh yeah, there's this whole fight happening. I like how there's two things happening. Like there's the conversation, and then there's like the internal dialogue. I just really like the switch between those, so you can see the way that he's like juggling these two things of like getting the information about whether or not they've rescued everyone and also strategizing simultaneously. Yeah, there's a bit of a problem. We have another ranker to deal with and like only one Lororo. I guess we have Quant though. but he's like flying the ship. So I don't know if he can just like dip out and deal with a rancor. We have Bomb, but like he's already drained from like briefly using the needle's power. So I don't know if we can rely on him like sticking it out. Even like against a rancor in general. I don't know how well Bomb could do, but like if it's gonna drain him that much to go up against like one Foog member, I worry about going up against a rancor. Like a Quant's just like, fine. I was gonna say, I'm like, that doesn't look like Quant. Do we have another person who's joining in undercover? Oh, who is it? Who do we know in white? I'm gonna feel really dumb if we've like set this up and I just don't remember. I'm sorry if it's frustrating. Look, I'm medicated at the moment and I'm ill, so I can't be expected to remember things that have happened like, who knows, 50 chapters ago? I don't even know at this point. Okay, so is the person in the costume Quant who's undercover, but then we had like some kind of radio voice stepping in who may or may not be the person in white? Okay, this seems a little bit more personal and vindictive, but okay. Yeah, who is it? I feel like I know who I want it to be, but I'm like, I don't know if that's who it is. Because I'm trying to think of like who would come to like Lororo's rescue or like Bomb's. Okay, so he must be Catfish. That I feel like maybe don't make business deals with somebody who is called Catfish. Maybe. Just my observation. It may be different in the Korean, but in English, catfish means a very specific thing, and I would not be making deals with that person. Because I'd be like, this is just asking for the rug to be pulled out from under me. Is this the person we saw before? Didn't we get a clip of somebody like all the way back at the beginning when the workshop battles were just about to start? Am I remembering that correctly? I might not be. I don't think we got any context of who it was though. It was just like a brief clip of them. This nervous sweating though makes me even more anxious because I'm like, what makes someone like that nervous? Do you have glasses? That makes, I mean, speaking as someone who currently has glasses, but usually when a character in a comic has glasses, they're shifty. Definitely not there coincidentally. No way. Also, the like game would be fair. I don't know if I believe that either. I don't think anything in the tower is fair. I think it's just who's better at playing the game. Is it gonna be Bomb? And then he gets to keep the needle because technically he won it? Oh, look at them all being tired. But I like kind of getting a roundup of like everyone being there. Oh, Team Sweet and Sour. And also like the original team, I guess. Wow, it's weird to see them all in one place. Lorraine, love him. Like just a special place in my heart. But I love getting to see them all together because how often does that happen? Also, is this the other Kun that was like the other one that they met at the like game place? Did they bring him along or am I just like not remembering properly? Because we have Ren, we have our Kun, and then we had the one, I want to say like Blueberry or something that we met before. There's just so many of them that I can't always keep up. Hey, Team Sweet and Sour, let's go. So that means they get to keep it, right? By the rules. They're allowed to keep the needle, so it can't be taken from them. This person makes me nervous. Yeah, didn't we have this where they were talking like on the radio and it was all the way back and I was like, it's weird that they seem to be separating themselves from humans and like people. So did they stop the broadcast from like fully going out into other parts of the tower? It was more contained within the workshop battle. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it'd be better if people knew, but I guess like if people knew for the like Robelia side of me, for our like ragtag team that has come together, but probably not better in like the grand scheme of things. Oh dang, okay, you're a leader of one of the families. Okay, no, that makes me nervous. Okay, we're having the prince conversation again, which has been a long time since we talked about that. Okay, I feel like I gotta remember your face because we're gonna come back. Will I don't know, but I don't know, light brown haired people with glasses with like grand schemes. Not a good track record in the things that I have done on this channel for being nice people. So a little bit suspicious of this one, I'm just saying. It's also weird that you're just like watching a bunch of them. Look at the sweeties. Like finally all together but completely exhausted. Just begun? Oof. How many chapters it's been? Like over 100? I think I'm at almost like 200 chapters total. Out of the whole series, not just like this season. And it's just begun. I believe that. How many chapters are there? So many. But like, dang. I mean, we've got some hooded people here. I'm glad to see Magnon seems to be okay. We have the ring there again though. And we had some talk about princes. It's probably fine. I definitely see what people were talking about because I got a comment a few chapters ago in the workshop battle where someone said there was like a very clear ending to this part of the arc, and it definitely feels like that. And honestly, it's a much happier ending than I was expecting. I feel like if I was like slightly better in health, I would be more excited about all of it. But finally getting to see them all together and kind of interacting, we haven't seen a whole lot of it yet. So I'm really excited to get into like the next arc and see how the dynamic works. Like, one, what is our goal? What are we trying to do? Because I feel for such a long time, it was like just Bomb trying to get farther up the tower, just kind of mindlessly looking for Rachel, regardless of like what that would mean when that happened. And I don't know if that is part of his goal anymore because he has his friends with him. So he's gone through a huge growth during this arc of like finding out more, being like more sure of himself, or like more willing to be independent. So I don't know if that's something that he is like the primary goal. I feel like he probably wants to find Rachel because there's some closure needed there. I feel like he needs to just like ask why and get some answers for what happened. I feel like Kun might want to also see Rachel again because he's got his own vendetta against her between what happened with Bomb and then what happened with the team that he put together. I feel like Kun's probably gonna want to hunt her down. I don't know if we're gonna loop back to that, but I don't know what the like objective is right now, because for a long time it was like they wanted to avenge Bomb or find their friends or figure out something about their past. And I feel like we've closed a lot of the like main stories that got introduced for like their motivations. I know that there's tons more threads in terms of like mystery and other things that have been set up for the world and the plot and stuff, but I feel like a lot of their individual motivations have kind of deviated. So I don't know what the motivation is, especially as like a collective. If you put all of these people together, what is the thing that they're going to want to try to accomplish? I don't know. And I feel like we might have a bit of a moment after this arc where it is them just trying to figure out what do they even want now and how are they going to try and get it? And you know, what are the dynamics of all of these people together? Because it's one thing to say, oh, they're all there because they care about Bomb or they care about someone else who's in the group. It's another thing to like actually have them all together and function as a group. So I don't know. I'm super excited to get into the next arc though and see what is going to happen and just see their interactions, see the different personalities coming together. I feel like I had a lot of anxiety at the end of that. It was just like really fast paced of like them like rushing through things to try and like get to the finish line. Team Sweet and Sour winning, so I guess they get to keep the needle like as per the rules, even though I don't know how much of the rules actually applied there at the end. We've got a new person who's one of the leaders of the 10 families, which I don't know how I feel about them knowing about our group. I don't really know if the focus is Bomb. I feel like part of this is like going in as him being the protagonist. I see him a lot as like my default is that it's because Bomb and he's important, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. Like there are lots of characters now within the main group that have their own connections and their own mysteries, and we have this whole thing with Wangnan about what's even going on with him. So like it doesn't have to be just because Bomb is there that there's this interest from people in power, but I definitely think there's more of a target painted on Bomb and those associated with him now that he has the needle, and powerful people seem to be knowing about that. So I don't know. We have lots of things that are kind of up in the air right now, but I hope you enjoyed reading that along with me. You can click this playlist to go and see my previous reactions, or you can subscribe so you know next time I post a Tower of God video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.